Okay, so typically I would do a take on this off stream, but I thought I'd just do this one mid broadcast and also upload it separately as a recording taken straight from the stream. So I got myself into a predicament where I had to put another party member in that I haven't used too much lately, but I had an idea of how to build them. Midas is the full caster of this game. He'll sit in the back and drop heavy AoE spells, dealing a lot of magical damage. First thing you want to know about Midas statistically, you want to get his INT stat, his INT stat, as high as possible. That's going to be where most of his damage is coming from. Resistances, you don't have to worry about too much, as he's meant to do a lot of damage. So, I mean, if you want a survivable build, I mean, you could try to put some stuff on there, but it's not what he's intended for. He's meant to chill in the background and then cast a ridiculous one-shot to, chunk the boss or completely wipe the group of ads. We'll get into his chain combos in just a second. We'll go over his passive skills first. So getting point blank range is going to be very useful because there are going to be times where ads are going to slip past whoever you're controlling, or if you're controlling Midas, they're just going to come straight for you. And if you get the spell off, you're going to do extra damage for them being in your face. 50% damage dealt for shooting by people nearby. That's pretty hefty. And it's damage at level 1. So you can only imagine if you put SP into this, what that's going to scale to. Hopefully it goes beyond 100%. I will let you guys know once I get to that point, which will be soon. Next we have Fast Cast. And what Fast Cast is going to be for is Fast Cast is going to be for pumping out spells at a quicker duration. So the more points you spec into this, the less of a cast time you'll have. So symbology can be kind of tedious in the beginning, especially for the higher damage dealing spells. So I probably recommend that you level Fast Cast up first over point blank, because you want to be able to do moves like Thunder Flare and so on and so forth, so you can do those faster, dealing heavier damage in a massive AoE instead of trying to cast it and then getting interrupted. Magic Muscle is also good because any attacks that are going to land a critical hit will steal a portion of his physical damage stats and add it to his magical damage stats. So it's basically letting you like soup it up for an insane magic one shot. So run all three of these together because they can both all work in tandem to make your abilities that much better. Going into his skill tree, I don't think there's necessarily a particular path you need to go first, but what I would recommend for anybody who's completely lost, start right here with Guts, go up again, and then path your way slowly up, because that'll take you to your point blank range passive skill. And then if you go over to the right, you'll have Fast Cast as well. These are two of the passive skills that you'll need. And then if you don't have the SP to go straight up into these heavy dealing damage spells, there's another path I'll show you in a second. Thunder Flare is going to be your heaviest dealing spell damage. Now this may fluctuate or change depending on what enemy you're striking it with, right? So you'll have to know what they're weak to, and you'll figure that out over time of just playing. But Thunder Flare is a heavy AoE move that once they get hit with the first tick, they have to take the rest of them, so it's pretty good. Terra Hammer is more of, there's a lot of people on the field, and I'm just going to drop this and see how many people I can hit. Still doing pretty good damage, starting at a base of 260. 280 seems to be the highest for his spells at a base level. Remember, you can level these up a lot higher. Second path I'd say to take is go through here, grab your defense shields, and then path on up again. Hit this defense shield and go up here so you can get your final, so you can get another passive. This is another alternative to the three passive that I showed you, because Never Keep You Down is great, because if you get knocked over while you're casting a spell, you can get a random buff. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to be a damage buff, but any random positive effect buff. So that's still worth pathing up for. If you want an alternative to say that magic muscle. If you're not using magic muscle, you 100% know you're not using any spells that are going to convert your attack into magic damage. This would be the best alternative for you. But you 100% have to use point blank range and then fast cast. Next, you would go ahead and grab your INT up. You want to path down, get as many of these as you can. And then keep on going until you get down here to this move. This move is going to be one of your heavy damage dealing moves. It's fire damage, AoE, doing 200 damage, and it causes damage over time after it lands. It's pretty cool because it actually is meant to be used in a close range scenario. So, but it also spreads out to a big wide AoE. So if somebody's in your face and you have fast cast, you can just jump into the sky, slam dunk on the ground, and then put damage over time on everybody, if not completely one-shotting them. So, and then for your fourth pathing, you're going to go ahead and follow the hearts down. We're grabbing first aid, but we're not using it. I'm going to keep going down. If you want to, you could get Hydro Billow, because 210 is a pretty good starting damage. It's almost like a lightning blast, but just with water. Nothing too crazy here. It's just if you want to grab it, you can add it onto the list for like flavoring. I would say Deep Freeze is better though, because I mean, they're both at 210 to start, but Deep Freeze actually has a factor that'll cause enemies to freeze for 6 seconds. And that's what's going to make this move a lot better than Hydro Billow. Hydro Billow is still good. It's just, you might want to get the most out of the spell that you're casting. If you can do the same amount of damage plus apply some sort of status effect, you want that. So yeah, grab Deep Freeze. Deep Freeze, and I believe this is pronounced Spicule. You want to grab that, and then Lightning Blast as 3 spells that you want to make sure you absolutely get with him. Another good one is Lightning Blast. It's basically functions similar to Hydro Billow. It's just completely up to you on if you want to grab this one. I think I'm about to grab it and add it as well, but I wanted to highlight the giant AoE spells: Thunder Flare, Terra Hammer, Spicule, and then lastly Deep Freeze, because these ones are going to control the map. And if you've ever been hit by a tornado or some sort of spell like that against the enemy, this will, let you get to deal that back to the enemy, throwing them off their balance and making it a lot easier for you if you're a melee engager or if you're just controlling Midas. As for the chain combos, it truly doesn't matter how you're pumping out these spells, but if you wanted to make sure that you could hit them in a successive row, I'd recommend starting with Deep Freeze, because if it freezes them, they're not going to be able to escape the target zone of the following spell. So freezing them with Deep Freeze and then following up with a Thunder Flare cast would be crazy, because then they'd have to take every Thunder Flare tick. They're probably dead after this, but if they're not, and or say you're fighting a boss and the boss may have some adds in the area, then follow up with a Terra Hammer to drop a whole bunch of earth damage all around the map. I thought to give him some quick spells as well, because if he is struggling with, split focus fights, maybe it's better to give him some sort of, get out of my face quick spell attack. So I put Windblade on. Secondly, I'm a big fan of Thunder Flare. It's a very strong spell that's been in the Star Ocean series for a long time. So I had Thunder Flare start a combo and then just flip-flopped it with Deep Freeze and then Terra Hammer. Spicule, I say put this one just on a hold move, because this is a very good, like I said, get out of my face move. He's moving himself out of harm's way, slamming down, doing a bunch of damage, potentially knocking people back and putting dots on everybody. So that one's pretty good. And then if you ever just wanted him to start with Terra Hammer, that's another reason why my combos are set up with Terra Hammer to start, Thunder Flare to start, Deep Freeze to start, so you can see which moves are more effective, and then you can adjust them accordingly. Then I just do Inspicule and then Thunder Flare as well. I gave him Earth Glaive as another spell he could quickly cast. I think I could see myself dropping Earth Glaive for Lightning Blast and Wind Blade for Hydrobilla, depending on how fast he actually casts those whenever I level up Fast Cast. Because I still want him to be able to do something if he's getting spammed out with auto attacks, because right now it seems like there's no passive to stop him from being interrupted from casting. He just has to find an opening, if you will. But yes, that is basically a brief rundown of how Midas's build would function mid to late game. I would like to do a late game update whenever he's like level 99, because I feel like he could offer some very good damage for somebody who wants a mage in the group. Definitely interested in using him in my second playthrough that I have planned after finishing this first one, because Magic and Star Ocean gets very strong in the late game. These are the 3 passive skills I strongly recommend running. Point Blank, just in case enemies are in your face. Fast Cast, so that you can use those high level spells without sitting there forever to cast them. And then of course Magical Muscle, if you're using anyone or any spell that can critical hit, because it'll steal your attack stats and add it to your magic damage stats. Alright, that is it for this Star Ocean build video. If you liked it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Star Ocean and Divine Force content. I will catch you guys in the next stream or build update video.